So today we shall be discussing the 11th to 23rd verses from the first chapter. It's almost like we'll be concluding the first chapter today from 11 text onwards. And the subject matter that is discussed today is boat of Kali Yuga. So text 11 says, Bhurini bhuri karmani shrotapyani vibhagasha atasadotra yatsaram samudritya manishaya bhuri bhadraya bhutanam yenatma suprasidati. There are many varieties of scriptures, and in all of them, there are many prescribed duties which can be learned only after many years of study in various divisions. Therefore, O sage, please select the essence of all these scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings, that by such instructions their heart may be fully satisfied. As we discussed last week, that now the sages of Naimisharanya will be putting forward questions. So from text 11 to text 23, they'll be total asking 6 questions. This is the first question they are asking. They're saying there are many varieties of scriptures, and all of them, they describe they give some prescription duties. And even to understand those duties, one has to study those scriptures for many, many years under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. So the sages are saying, we don't have that much time. We don't want to learn the prescribed duties or what is the ultimate goal of life by studying the scriptures for many, many years. Since you are learned, you know the essence of all the scriptures, so you can instruct us. This will benefit not only us, but for all the living entities. It will be beneficial. So, the purpose of scriptures is to distinguish the spirit soul from the matter. Matter means, we say, the elements of this material creation. And soul by nature is spiritual in constitution, and therefore the soul can never be satisfied by any amount of material arrangements. It is just like if we bring the fish out of water and try to make a lot of comfortable arrangements for the fish. Try to turn on the air condition, try to provide nice food and beverages. But the fish out of water has no meaning for all of that. The fish can never be satisfied. Just imagine, you bring out the fish from the water and try to offer all the foodstuffs and all the enjoyments of this world. The fish will continue to be miserable, suffer immensely. In spite of all the facilities, it will simply suffer. So that's what we explain here. The soul is actually distinguished from the matter. It is spiritual. And any amount of arrangements, it's just like fish naturally belongs to water. You take out the fish from the water and then you try to provide everything, it'll be only prolonging the misery of the fish, as long as the fish does not return to water. So similarly, all the arrangements on this world, all the material planning, if it is not driven towards spiritual satisfaction of the soul, then all that planning is more or less meant for giving pain to living entities. And this is not only Bhagavatam, but all the scriptures. and the spiritual instructions given in those scriptures, they direct us to this one goal, which is to satisfy the self, satisfy the soul, not to satisfy the body. Satisfying the body is foolishness. Prabhupada gives many times example, just like a person is drowning in the river. Okay, somebody swims and goes, then pulls out the coat that person was wearing, and the person drowns. He simply pulls out the coat, and they say, "I saved the person." No, you simply try to save the coat, which is anyway useless now because the person is gone. So one cannot bring satisfaction simply by rescuing the outer garment. By saving the coat, we cannot satisfy the person who's drowning in the river. So similarly, trying to bring facilities in this world to bring satisfaction for the body is exactly like trying to save the coat without caring about the person who's wearing the coat. Because this body is nothing but a coat. It's like a garment. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vyaya. Just like we have the dress, garment, which we wear, and when it's useless, we throw it away. Then we take a new garment. So similarly, this body is also a garment. And unfortunately, we are living in the age of Kali Yuga, where the entire atmosphere is completely surcharged with these teachings. In Kali Yuga, especially, the whole atmosphere is opposing the spiritual injunctions. You start a religion, you start a new religion which has all the bogus things. People will very happily accept it. This Kali Yuga is atmosphere only like that. The more a person becomes corrupt in Kali Yuga, the more a person becomes averse to spirituality, the more people welcome it. Because people in Kali Yuga are more or less surcharged with this opposing and element. They are so much surcharged with opposition for spirituality, and therefore, they're reading the forthcoming verses in Bhagavatam. People in Kali Yuga are so unfortunate. They're so unfortunate because they're trying to make arrangement of keeping the fish satisfied outside of water. Sorry. Okay. So then text 12 to 14, they continue. All blessings upon you, O Sutta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as a son of Vasudeva. O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters, for one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them. So here comes the second question. They're saying for what purpose, the Supreme Lord appeared in the womb of Devaki. Please explain to us. So in other words, they are asking question, why the Supreme Lord appears in this world. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by the fear personified. So, here comes the second question. Why the Supreme Lord appears in this world? Let's try to understand. So they are asking about the purpose of Lord's appearance. because the Supreme Lord, from the Lord's perspective, this material existence is like a prison house. So the sages are actually inquiring, eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. So this is actually one of the very important qualifications. Eagerness to learn or to hear about the Supreme Lord. Unless one has that eagerness, one will not be able to imbibe the true message of Srimad Bhagavatam. To the degree one is eager to hear, to that degree Krishna reveals himself. Utsaha. There are 6 things Rupa Goswami explains in Upadeshamrita. There are 6 things which are very conducive to developing Krishna consciousness. And the very first of them he says Utsaha. Utsaha means eagerness. One should be eager to learn about the Supreme and his different incarnations. And hearing in the line of disciple succession from the bona fide Guru or recognized Acharyas. That's also a very, very important principle. So the Lord appears for a certain purpose. One has to learn that, about his different incarnations by hearing from a bona fide spiritual master. And Vasudeva has empowered his name with the power of his personal self. So especially in this Kali Yuga, the Supreme Lord has descended in his holy name. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his in Shikshashtakam prayer, he says, Namnamakari bahuda nija sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamitaha smaranena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi Durdaiva midrishamiha janina anuraga. He says, Namnam akari bahuda nija sarva shakti. The Lord has invested all his energies. Sarva shakti means all his energies. Namnam akari bahuda nija sarva shakti. So Lord has invested all his potency in the holy name, his own name. Tatra arpita niyamitaha smaranena kala. And he's offering it without any niyama or restriction of kala. So to chant the name of Krishna, there is no restriction. One has to be pure, impure. No considerations at all. One can chant in any condition the person may be. Even while evacuating, a person may chant the names of Krishna. There is no restriction. It's like, there was one person who, while evacuating, chanting the names of Lord Ramachandra. And Hanuman happened to see this. So Hanuman became angry. He went and slapped the person. He said, what nonsense. The name of the Lord is so pure. How can you chant while evacuating? So the person became scared. He stopped. Then Hanuman went to Ayodhya. He saw that the cheeks of Lord Ramachandra were swollen. Hanuman said, my dear Lord, what happened to you? And Lord Ramachandra said, somebody, slapped me or hit me on the face. Hanuman became so angry. He said, who can dare to even imagine doing such a thing to you? Please let me know. I will, if it's not a Brahmana or a Vaishnava, I will chop off his head. I'll punish that person. Lord Ramachandra smiled and he said, well, the person who actually hit me is asking who has hit me. So Hanuman was actually shocked. My dear Lord, what are you talking? He said, yes, because I am non-different from my name. The person was chanting my name and you slapped him. That was equivalent to giving me the slap. Because I was on his tongue. I was present on the tongue of that person when he was chanting my name. So this is a very important lesson or message we get. The Lord has empowered his holy name with all his potencies. We go to the next slide, text 15. Yatpadasamshraya suta munayo prashamayana sadhya punanti upasprishta swardhoni apo nusevaya. O Suta, those great sages who have come in shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the water of Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. So now here the glories of pure devotees have been described in this verse. It says, a person may take the advantage of Ganges water, only after coming in touch or after prolonged use of Ganges water. But the glories of Vaishnavas are a pure devotee of Lord is actually so powerful that here the comparison is given to the sacred river of Ganga. They are actually more powerful than the water of Ganges. It's very difficult for people who are in Swartha mentality to even imagine how a person who is devoted to Lord Sri Krishna can purify more potently than Ganges water. It means simply by hearing from the lips of a pure devotee of the Lord, one can get immense benefit, which cannot be attained even by taking bath in Ganges for millions of times. So anyone who takes shelter of the lotus feet of a pure devotee of the Lord, accepting that the pure devotee as his spiritual master, one can actually become fully purified. So pure devotees are better known as wise lords according to revealed scriptures. So why actually pure devotees are more potent than Ganges water? Because the devotees are considered representative of the Lord. Just like, Prabhupada gives example. Suppose an ambassador of America goes to India, or any other country, for example, goes to, say, Middle East somewhere, in Iran or Afghanistan, and he gets killed there. Now, an ambassador of the country is just one ordinary human being. He is just one of the citizens of that country. But because he is the, like in this terms where Prabhupada says, vice lord or the representative of the country, if he gets killed, there are wars. Wars are raged to annihilate the entire country. So similarly, the pure devotee of the Lord, they are like the wise lords or the representative of the Lord. We go to next slide. Text 16 to 18. This text 16. Who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of coral, who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord? His transcendental acts are magnificent and gracious, and great learned sages like Narada sing of them. Please therefore speak to us who are eager to hear about the adventures he performs in his various incarnations. And of course, the 16th verse, there's a question mark, but it's not really a question. They are actually exclaiming here. Who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of coral, who's not willing to hear the virtuous goods of the Lord? They're saying if anyone who is desiring to be delivered from all the ill effects of Kali Yuga, he will be naturally very eager to hear the glories of the Lord. The next question is actually coming in the 17th verse. They're saying, we are eager to hear about the adventures he performs in his various incarnations. So, previous what they were asking about, the why Lord appears in this world. Here they are saying, we want to hear about the different incarnations and the feats that Lord performs, different adventures he performs in different incarnations. And text 18, they say, O Sutta, please narrate to us the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Godhead's multi-incarnations. Such auspicious adventure and pastimes of the Lord, the Supreme Controller, are performed by his internal powers. So they want to actually hear about the different pastimes of the Lord in different incarnations. Now, the effects of Kali Yuga, as are described in Bhagavatam, the effects of Kali Yuga are Manda, Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya hi Upadrita, Prayana Alpa Ayusha, Sabhava Kalau Asmin Yuge Jana. Prayana Alpa Ayusha. People in Kali Yuga have a very short duration of life. Alpa means very little. Prayana Alpa Ayusha, Kalau Asmin Yuge Jana. In Kali Yuga, people have short duration of life. Manda, they are actually very slow. Manda means dull-headed in one way. Slow means a person who doesn't have much intelligence. Even to understand simple thing, he takes long time. Manda, Sumanda Matayo, and they are also ill-advised. Manda Bhagya, they are actually they are misfortune. They are unfortunate actually. Manda Bhagya means unfortunate. Upadrata, they are always disturbed. So, this age is actually condemned because it has so many disqualifications. And one qualification especially is the people in this age are very quarrelsome. In fact, the word Kali indicates two things, quarrel and hypocrisy. So this Kali Yuga is so saturated with vicious habits that there's a great fight at the slightest provocation or misunderstandings. People actually rage wars on small and insignificant things. But if we actually want the peace, then we must open the road to understand the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and glorify him for his, right. So if somebody wants to really If somebody wants to really be free from the effects of this Kali Yuga and want to attain the actual peace, then must open the road to understand the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and glorify Him. Glorify Him as is glories are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, there's a beautiful song by Vaishnavacharya says, Kali Kukura Kaga Jadi Chaho Hai Kali Yuga Pavan Kali Bhaya Nashana Shri Sachinandana Gao Hai. It says Kali Kukura. Kukura means dog. So it says if you want to Kali Kukura Kadana Jadi Chaho, if you want to be free from the dog-like Kali. You see, in sometime if you are even just passing by on the road, people who have dogs in their yard, dogs start barking. The dog, if he's especially barking at you, and what to speak, the dog is running towards you with barking, it creates tremendous anxiety. And especially if the master is not around. The dog is just chasing, especially in India, we have teeth. Wow, wow. It's actually very fearful. Anyone gets afraid. So this Kali is actually like a dog, a very ferocious dog. And anyone who wants to be free from this Kali Kukura Padan Vyadi Chahoy, then the solution is Kali Yuga Pavan Kali Bhayanashan Shri Sachinandan Gao. Kali Yuga Pavan, one who actually purifies this age of Kali. Not just purify people, but purifies even the age itself. Kali Yuga Pavan, Kali Bhayanashan. And all the fear that is created by the influence of Kali Yuga. Kali Bhayanashan. He actually destroys that Bhaya. Shri Sachinandan Gao. Please sing the names of Lord Shri Sachinandan, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is actually the remedy for less intelligent people and transcendentalists. So the contrast is given here between who are less intelligent and who are the people in divine consciousness. The Supreme Lord is never inactive. Some less intelligent persons think or suggest. So Krishna is never inactive. Here we are seeing, the sages are very eager to hear about the pastimes of the Lord. So because they want to hear the pastimes, they are fully aware that the Lord actually has activities. And Lord's creation, both material and spiritual, are full of variegatedness. Wonderful variegatedness. So to think that the Lord doesn't have any activities is actually very foolishness. When we are so active, we have so much activity. Even sometime when we go to sleep, we are active. We start seeing a dream. We see a dream that a tiger is chasing me. Or we start seeing a dream that, I'm falling from a cliff. We start seeing dreams some ghost is trying to trouble me. We see sometimes dream that I have become a, very rich man. I have many, wives or children. So, all that is nothing but the dream, where the mind is so active even in sleeping state. It creates so much variety. But in real life, in the not in the dream, in real life, we're talking about, we are so active. We are never inactive. Even if a person is sitting active, ideal, trying to meditate, mind is always so active. It's everywhere. Even when we're sitting and chanting sometime, our mind takes us thousands of miles away from us. So how can the soul or the source of the soul, God, be inactive? Soul and God both are never inactive. And these material creation, they are manifested for some time as perverted shadow of the spiritual kingdom. And they can be compared with the cinemas. So just like when you go to a movie theater to see a movie, the first thing happens is all the lights are turned off. In order to enjoy some fantasy, because what we see on the screen, nothing but fantasy. There is no reality in it. In the movie, you may see a person is, child is born and then he becomes, grown up, and then he becomes, very famous or very powerful person. And toward the end of the movie dies. All that transformation that you see is nothing but illusory or imagination. There is no reality in it. If you see on the screen somebody is getting killed, there's no reality in it. Or a dead person revives and comes back to life. There's no reality in it. So first thing it should happen is the whole cinema hall turns into dark. The lights must go off in order to be able to enjoy the illusion. So similarly, this material creation is a dark place because of perverted shadow of the spiritual kingdom. In order to enjoy the imaginary events, just like on the screen, we see as movies, different scenes in a movie. They are nothing but imaginary or concocted scenes. There is no reality in it. So similarly, in order to be able to relish the different events in our life, one must be put into ignorance. So a person who gets actually attracted or takes seriously the different things in this material creation is nothing but less intelligent. Because when a person actually sees some movie and start crying or laughing, is only laughing or crying on illusion. Though his laughter and crying is not illusion, but the subject matter on which he is becoming happy or becoming distressed is all illusory. But people in this age, they are less intelligent. They do not have that much intelligence to even comprehend that. Srimad Bhagavatam gives many examples in this regard. It says, just like if a person sees in the dream, his head is being chopped off. Now, just imagine, if my head is chopped off, there is no way I can see that. The very fact I'm seeing that my head is chopped off, that means it's illusion. So similarly, all the happiness and distress in this world is nothing but illusory. Actually, a person, his son died, but he was not crying. His wife was crying bitterly. So she asked the husband, why are you not crying? Your son is dead. Why are you not crying? So the person said, yesterday I saw a dream. In the dream, I actually became a king. I married so many, few dozens of wives. I had few dozen queens. And I had so many children from each and every of them. And in the morning I woke up, my dream was gone. All my queens were gone, all my children were gone, my kingdom was gone. So I should be lamenting for so many queens and so many children and so much kingdom that I lost, or I should be crying for one child. The wife became a little positive. What nonsense. It was a dream. The person said, yes. That was a dream in the night. What we see here is a dream in the daytime. And that's actually so true. Our relationships in this world, everything that we think we possess or we are is nothing but a dream. Just like in the dream, a person becoming the king or seeing being chased by a tiger, both are unreal. Similarly, happiness and distress in this world is also unreal. But less intelligent people, they cannot understand this. But the transcendentalists or the intelligent class of people, they understand. They understand the difference between the temporary or material reality and the absolute reality. They understand that Krishna, the supreme absolute truth, and therefore they engage in the service of the Lord. In text 19 and 20, they say, we never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of God, who is glorified by the hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationship with Him relish hearing of His pastimes at every moment. So here they are actually glorifying. They're glorifying further the pastimes of the Lord. And text 20, they say, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balaram, played like a human being, and so much he performed many superhuman acts. So they are specifically going to the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram. Still, there is no question in these, but they are just glorifying. They're glorifying Krishna Balaram, they're glorifying the pastimes of the Supreme Lord in transcendental in the nature. So there is a great difference between mundane stories, fiction, and history, or the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. When we hear the mundane history, it simply agitates our mind. Many times I see in social groups, they keep posting so much about the history of India. How whatever history we were taught was actually bogus. How some of the frontline politicians who are considered freedom fighters, they cheated us. They were nothing but the cheaters. So when we hear such history, we become so agitated. The mind becomes completely disturbed. And then we developed so much anger. Oh, the descendants of those should be killed. They should be thrown out of the power and position. And if somehow that they happen to come in, the person becomes so miserable. So any subject matter we hear in this world, or if people are fond of hearing news. I've seen people so crazy about hearing the news. And news also, there are so many channels of the news. There are some channels which are dedicated for giving you the news from the sports background. I've seen even channels fully dedicated to give you the news about stock market. Stock is rising, stock is falling. 24/7, they simply, broadcast the news about the stock market. So people actually have so many subject matters to hear. Shukadeva Goswami said in the second canto of Bhagavatam, Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nrinam Santi Sahasrasha Apashyatam Atmatattvam Griheshu Grihamedina. So he says, people in general have thousands of topics. Nrinam Santi Sahasrasha. People have topics for hearing. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nrinam Santi Sahasra. Sahasra means thousands. So people have thousands of subject matters to hear. And all the subject matters are useless. Because whether the subject is mundane story, fiction, history, news, political news, whatever it may be, it simply agitates the mind, makes person disturbed. But the subject matter about the Supreme Lord, the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, they are not mundane. In fact, anything we hear about the Supreme Lord is ever fresh. Mundane news, it is static. It becomes stale. Transcendental news is dynamic. In as much as the spirit is dynamic and matter is static. So just like, newspaper, for example. If you get the newspaper, 1-year-old newspaper, nobody would like to, publish that 1-year-old newspaper. Nobody is really interested in reading that newspaper. Nobody will buy that newspaper. Just imagine now, for example, people are, of course, also fading away, but people have some inclination to hear about COVID-19 news. How many cases are coming every day, in which country and all. Of course, after 3 months, people have become a little indifferent to that as well. But still, some people have that interest in that. 2 years down the line, when this, 1 or 2 years down the line, when this pandemic is gone, how many people do you think will be actually interested in knowing statistics? How many cases we had today? 0. So nobody will be interested in reading that news. Because anything that is mundane in nature is stale. It becomes stale. It doesn't become really stale, but it is always stale. It doesn't have any rasa or joy in that. So any mundane literature is actually in the mode of illusion, in darkness. And any literature like Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendent or divine by nature. And there is also one sect of philosophers, the Mayavadi philosophers. Their philosophy is also mundane. That's also nothing but philosophy in ignorance. The Bhagavatam, sometimes even Mayavadis, they actually take Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita and talk or speak on that. But their explanations are completely mundane. They have no real substance in it. Even though maybe we're speaking exactly from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, but because their understanding is incomplete, their understanding is actually very much material. Now, when we talk about Srimad Bhagavatam, or when the sages are asking about the different pastimes of the Lord, one may think there are people in this world who follow the philosophy of anthropomorphism and zoomorphism. Now, what are these two doctrines? Let's try to understand. Anthropomorphism means morphism means kind of, you can say, philosophy. So anthropo means if I like, for example, I have certain liking towards peacock feather. I like flute. I like yellow garments. So I create a picture, or I create a, uh, God who has yellow dhoti, who wears peacock feather on in his crown, and who plays on the flute. Because I like it, therefore I put those attributes. And they call it anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism means creating or concocting a form of God as per my liking. Just like in Bible it happened. When Moses, he went to the holy mountain to receive the 10 commandments from the Lord. In his absence, all his followers, because they had no idea about how God looks like, they actually created a golden statue of a ram, and they started worshipping that ram as God. Now that is zoomorphism. Zoomorphism means I like some animal, so I create God which depicts that animal. So for example, I like monkey, so I create a monkey god. I like elephant, so I create a god with elephant head. So people have these concocted ideas about anthropomorphism and zoomorphism. So they sometimes apply the same doctrine to the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. They think, oh, people in India, they were liking, they had some liking towards some animals like fish, so they created a fish god. They have Matsya avatar. Some people may have liking towards a boar, so they created Varaha incarnation. But incarnations of the Lord are not creation of a human's mind or the factory. Prabhupada would use the word, the factory of the brain. It's not creation of the factory of the brain of human beings. No. And also the theory that a man becomes God by dint of penances or austerities is also very much bogus and very rampant in modern times. There are a lot of people, especially in India, if you go there, they believe this philosophy that you can actually become God by performing austerities. And any popular personality with few traits of, some mystic powers will display some feat of jugglery and easily becomes an incarnation of God. Because foolish people, they somehow that propagate him. But Krishna was not that type of God. Krishna was not producing some ashes or some little quantity of gold. No. Go to text 21 to 23. This is the concluding verses of the first chapter. So here they are asking further questions. Knowing well that the age of Kali has already begun, we are assembled here in the holy place to hear at great length the transcendental message of Godhead, and in this way perform sacrifice. We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as the captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being. Since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. So here comes the final question. So let's try to understand these verses. So process of self-realization in Kali Yuga, this age of Kali Yuga is not at all suitable for self-realization, in the sense that in other yugas, people had so many advantages. They had long duration of life. They had proper guidance. They had good memory. They had sharp memory. They were free from the natural calamities. There never used to be unnatural death. But this age of Kali Yuga is actually, we are at disadvantage in so many ways. As we already discussed, the whole atmosphere is also saturated with opposition. So when a person wants to practice self-realization, he has to face tremendous opposition. Therefore, it says this age is not suitable for self-realization. And in Kali Yuga, the maximum duration of life, maximum, is actually 100 years. And that, combined with so many difficulties, adhyatmik, adi bhautik, adi devik miseries, like for past few months, we have been staying at distance from all our near and dear ones. Why? Because of the fear of pandemic. So we are surrounded by so many difficulties. Some people don't have jobs, and there was a revolt. Recently, there was so much revolt all over the country, just because one person was, killed, unnecessarily killed. People actually revolted. So in Kali Yuga, we have so many disturbances. Therefore, the recommended process of self-realization is hearing and chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord. By hearing His name, being pastimes of the Lord, we can actually attain the supreme perfection of life. And this Srimad Bhagavatam is like a boat to cross over the ocean of Kali. This whole area of Kali Yuga is compared to the ocean. So if you want to cross over this ocean, we have to take shelter of this boat. The system of education, the modern system of education that we have in Kali Yuga is geared towards sense gratification. So this whole system, especially the modern university education, even from beginning from the school itself, the school or university education, is geared towards making people, men and women, to be addicted to unrestricted sense gratification. In fact, the children, right from the very tender age, are taught to look at each other with lusty intents. They are taught the relationship of boyfriend and girlfriend, which is actually a very unfortunate situation in Kali Yuga. I remember, even I had visited some of the nursery programs, when I used to live in West Virginia. And on the February, mid-February, 14th February, there is Valentine's Day. So even small children of 4 or 5 year old, you thought, okay, you take this rose and go and give it to the girl. She's your girlfriend, your boyfriend, So right from the very tender age, these thoughts are drilled into children. So the whole education system is corrupt. The whole atmosphere is actually corrupt. So if a learned man thinks over it, we'll see that, especially children in this age are being intentionally sent to slaughterhouses of the so-called schools and universities. What we used to call the modern universities or education centers as slaughterhouses, where systematically the inclination of children to inquire about God, to become God conscious, is slaughtered. Intentionally it is slaughtered. So learned man must be very cautious of this age. If we want to cross over the dangerous ocean of Kali, we must follow in the footsteps of the sages of Naimisharanya, who accepted Shuddha Goswami as their guru, as the captain of their ship. Similarly, we should accept as bona fide spiritual master. In fact, the scriptures give a beautiful comparison. They say this body is like a boat. So this body is like a boat. Guru Karnadharam. The spiritual master is like Karnadhar. He's like a captain. You see, if a person has a very strong built ship, very strong boat, but if there's no captain on the ship, it's just a matter of, uh, you know, time. Not even time. I'm saying the matter of just little bit of storm coming, the whole ship will drown. Or the person on board will be completely lost, or they will lose their life by drowning. A slightest storm and the ship will drown, because the captain knows how to navigate the ship through the storms. So having captain is so crucial. Similarly, having a spiritual master like the follower or on the line of Sutta Goswami is so crucial. So the ship is actually the message of Lord Shri Krishna, and in the shape of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have this boat in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. If we take shelter of it, then we will be actually able to cross over. If we take the help of this ship or boat, we can cross over this ocean of Kali. So the greatest fortune of people in Kali Yuga is that simply by chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they can attain the highest perfection of human life. So along with hearing chanting the holy name of Krishna, if we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then our life is perfect, because hearing Srimad Bhagavatam will bring us inspiration to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So with this, I think we'll stop here. If anyone has any question, you may ask.